I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Tokusatsu, well, we're going to be talking about a lot of shit because I was sick last week and we couldn't do the show.
Yeah. How was being sick?
It sucked.
How many thumbs up would you give it?
-5.
Yeah, sounds pretty accurate from what I've heard.
Yeah, it wasn't the human malware for anybody who might be curious. It was just strep throat. Is like a mild case of strep throat, but it made it impossible for me to do most anything for 2 days.
Yeah. At least you're better now. You're on this podcast, and now I'm gonna talk about my day. It was not good.
Yeah, mine wasn't either. Things have been sporadically very not good in both our lives, I feel like, since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, it's just like just ever since the last time we recorded, just everything's gone downhill.
I mean, there's been some real high points. I went to an AEW show last week.
Yeah.
And
I got you don't have a wrestling podcast to talk about it.
I wonder whose fault that is.
Oh, you're right. It's my fault because I replaced it.
I'm joking. That was a mutual agreement. But I got some stuff around the house I've been meaning to forever this weekend, so that was nice. Say something nice about your life, Buster.
It's Ramadan, and I luckily I don't fast during the recording because we record this at night, so I can eat during the recording.
Oh, nice. I know very little about Ramadan. I'm gonna be honest.
We can save it for a components episode.
Yeah, it's one of those things I need to look into more. Like I literally just learned the fasting thing from you this year.
Well, you didn't know we fasted? That's like the main thing.
Apparently, yeah.
Okay. Well, don't fast on modular media.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's. Oh, I'm incredibly amused by how white I am sometimes.
That's fine.
That's what happens when you're white and you're not exposed to other religions. You just never learn that shit until a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever you're celebrating or not, you can join the creative co-op. Like watch the creative co-op modular media. We got all sorts of podcasts. We have our own channels. Go check them out in the links below.
Yeah, like, comment, sub, ring that bell. Don't forget to comment. All that good stuff. We're a little too tired to do the full spiel this week, but let's get into the news.
We got to say anyway on the news, so
yeah, we got news that I missed the week before last. Starting off with, we have 2 new posters for Shin Ultraman and a new official release date, which is going to be May 13th. It's coming out the Friday of May 13th in Japan.
Nice.
So no confirmed US release date.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get it in a few when it comes to video on demand in Japan. I'm pretty sure Ultraman Connection will do an event where it's streamed Shin Ultraman and stuff
really like a Fathom event. I'm not gonna stop asking for that until the movie's out and it's over. But I guess being able to watch it on a streaming service would be nice too.
Yeah.
Also, I love that the tagline is fantasy and romance, period, and friendship. It's interesting how those are separated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of Ultraman stories can fall under that, so.
Yeah, but that's clearly a very deliberate sort of branding for the movie, and it's going to be interesting how that plays into the theme.
Yeah.
Also, Shin Ultraman got a nice kind of muscly back. Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was when this poster got released, everyone was complaining that his butt wasn't that thick.
I mean, we all kind of knew that was coming. I don't understand how people are keep being astounded at how much of a skinny freak he is. We've been looking at this design for almost 2 years, people.
Yeah. Speaking of looking at designs for years,
fucking the official Power Rangers account revealed the next wave of the Walmart exclusive Retro Zords line, which is entirely fucking MMPR for some reason. We've got Black and Gold Megazord, we've got Tiger Zord in Warrior mode, we've got is that the Mega Dragonzord or is that Dragonzord in fighting mode? I always get them mixed up.
The Dragonzord with the MMPR Zords attached to it. There.
Yes, and I believe that is the Mega Tiger Zord, is what that one's called.
Yeah.
So obviously there's the elephant in the room of why the hell is this all MMPR when there was like a decent balance in the first wave?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was like when if you count NinjaCon as like MMPR, there was technically 3/4 MMPR, but this is just going full in, and it's like, come on, why you gotta do my Megazord line dirty? I was actually really excited for this line. I picked up a NinjaCon and quite enjoyed it, and I'm just like, I want my like Megazords of like varying generations. Like, it's okay. Why did we need a NFT repainted? Because that's like I call it the NFT Megazord because of past events, but like like what?
That coloring scheme has existed for years before that happened, though, and like
I know, but like I think that's what's going to be associated with from now on in my brain. I'm
at
sorry.
least in the sarcastic online fandom, I think it'll be known that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's also the fact of like this is like the third time the color scheme has been altered slightly. Like there's a ton of red in it this time for no real discernible reason.
I guess it helps break it up. Question
I mean,
mark.
it does look nice. I don't dislike it. It's just weird that they made that random change. The White Tiger Sword and Warrior mode, I've always liked. Like, it's kind of the main reason. Like, I've always low key wanted that toy because it functions very well as its own thing. But I don't know that I need just a straight action figure of it. And you know what, I'm just gonna look up what this is right off the fly because I don't want to be saying both names back to back.
Yeah, disappointing second like installment for this but like I was really excited for this Megazord line, honestly. I'll be honest, I should never be excited for anything ever again.
Don't say that. Don't go that hard on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, nihilism is the death of society.
Okay, it's Dragonzord Battle Mode is what that formation is called.
I hate that I can hear like JDF yelling that in my ear. Battle mode.
It's like that meme of Q whispering in Picard's ear.
Yeah.
Dragonzord Battle Mode. Honestly, this is my favorite season 1 formation. So like, on the one hand, cool, a new toy of like one of my favorite formations. On the other hand, it's like you didn't need to go to this so early. Like, if you want this line to last, you should really be saving that stuff in your back pocket.
Yeah,
for, like,
when
later waves.
Yeah, because now I feel like this line it could potentially be one of like the biggest like failures under Hasbro like later down the road. Because now here's the thing: I don't mind having MMPR in this line. You blowing your load too early. Like MMPR is a good like if everyone says it's true that it sells well, save your money, save your like resources, and then like drip feed the fans, and then like that will of course gonna buy it. You know?
Yeah, and then Tigerzord in battle or Mega Tigerzord, excuse me. I like the head sculpt. I don't like anything else about that formation. It just seems like Tigerzord in warrior mode with extra shit.
I mean, I like the helmet.
Yeah.
Good helmet. That's all I got. I don't know. I'm just like,
yeah.
I like a lot of these designs, but like, come on, you could have had a bit more variety.
Mm-hmm. And like, while I was kind of tempted by stuff in Wave 1, there's nothing in this wave that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind a non-transforming version of that.
I still want to get the Lost Galaxy Megazord.
Well, that's Wave 1, and that's one I'd agree with you on.
Yeah. But like nothing here I'm like kind of itching to get, you know?
Yeah. And moving on, there is also a slight bit of Lightning Collection news that came out at the same time as this, which is just that during Walmart Collector Con, which was a weird online event that's been happening since like halfway through the pandemic and happened again a couple weekends ago. I don't remember how fucking long ago at this point. They sold the Power Pop Art packaging variants of the latest wave of the Lightning Collection in a big box. They did a box set. You could get them all in one go, which is really nice for people who are into those packaging variants. And like just Lightning Collection completionists will probably want this. But I looked at it and I went, that sure is a box.
Yeah, that sure is a box with toys in it.
Yeah. Like
anyway, next.
There's also this was kind of like a leak stealth surprise reveal, I guess you could say, because it was okay, so I'm trying to remember this whole fucking story in my head. Basically, what had happened was a few months ago, Hasbro held a meeting for investors only, where they basically did a Fan First Friday, but for investors, and showed them a bunch of stuff that they weren't planning to show to us for a while. And one of those things was early renders of the Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project Dragonzord, which we've known about for a while via leaks. And recently, that whole fucking presentation just leaked online randomly. Nobody knows how or from who. It wasn't a fan outlet. It was just somebody who happened to attend it, put it online. So we have our first look at the Zap Dragonzord, and it's the worst fucking formation of the Dragonzord in my opinion.
It's just like we just see it like on top of the MMPR Megazord. It's just like it looks
this
goofy.
is an official formation that's in the show, but it's always just looked like
Funny.
the Megazord's wearing a terrible headdress.
I mean, like, I like the goofiness of it, but, like, why is, like, this the first time you're showing it? I guess because it's, like, that they weren't specifically showing... I don't know, I just feel like Tommy's, like, or, like, the Green Ranger's popular enough that they could have shown it, like, you know, like, the full thing. I don't know.
From what we see here, it does look pretty good and like a solid improvement over the the legacy one. Like the patterns on the undersides of the feet, which are the shoulder pads in this, those look like they're fully sculpted and painted. And it looks like there might even be alternate parts for the hand with the way the fingers are kind of sticking out there. That looks like that might be a solid piece instead of the hands just in a black void. But I can't be sure because this is just a 3D render. It's not a physical product.
Yeah, that sure is a leak. Speaking of leaks.
So this is something that just randomly showed up. Like, I feel like I'm saying that a lot tonight. This is something that just randomly showed up on Instagram. Nobody knows where these photos came from or who originally posted them because they showed up and immediately spread like wildfire. And by the time fan news outlets found them, there was no way to track where they originally came from. But, I mean, we've all kind of known for a while that we would be getting the rest of the Ninjetti team because they showed them on a poster. But now we have what looks like official photography of Ninjetti Rocky. And honestly, for a figure of that design, which I don't personally care for a whole bunch, it looks pretty good. And this does look official. This doesn't look like a custom to me because of how good the sculpting on the new chest emblem is and how very okay the head sculpt is.
I've already said my piece on Ninjetti merchandise. Next.
Yeah. What was next? Oh yeah.
Literally the day the episode where Thunder Gale from Revice premiered, they were like SH Figuart.
Yeah, which is hilarious because they're like 8 forms behind on Revice.
Yeah, I mean like I know we just like now like Vice and Revi are now like available to purchase. Like I've been seeing like photography of those forms.
It's not that they're available to purchase; it's that they just got into people's hands. They've been available to pre-order and whatnot for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. And like I really thought we would get Jakku Revice first because it's like
that's the really weird thing is like they jumped the gun on Buried, Volcano, and Jack Revice to show this, and not even this isn't a full solicitation. It's just a teaser in it.
Yeah, weird. I don't know. Maybe they have a lot of faith in this form.
Which is weird because I don't know if we talked extensively about this form before, but like,
we're talking about the debut this week, so.
Yeah, but we did see it in scans early. I don't remember if we ever talked about that, but basically. Not a huge fan of this form suit design-wise, I'll say that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Looks like a bit of a mess. But
yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like a modern Kamen Rider suit, if that makes sense.
I fucking hope it does, considering it's a modern Kamen Rider
like, suit. A modern Kamen Rider upgrade. Just a standard modern Kamen Rider upgrade. I think if I added standard, that would make way more sense.
I guess. Anyway, Dawn Brothers news. Fucking the scans for April are out, and they are very, very interesting because stuff we saw in leaks is now getting confirmed even more so. That mainly being the way the mechas are going to work on this show is it's just Ultraman with extra steps, like a lot of this show.
I mean, like we had like mecha like this before with like the Kaku Ranger, the Kaku Ranger, basically just the people, like 5 mini people turned into like one big Zord that we see in Kaku Ranger and O Ranger, um, or Super Zeo Zords for those in America.
But weren't they controlling those as machines? This is the characters are actually becoming these Zords.
Oh, okay. Well, like I
Yeah,
was more referring
which
to
are
a
called
design, right?
Robotaros, by the way.
That's a really good name. Um, yeah, I like these a lot.
They're okay designed Zords. I think it's really cool that it took us this long to get them.
I mean, we've already had
Uh,
a mecha in the show for a while with the Don Zenkaio.
uh-huh. And I mean, like that's something we could almost talk about when we actually talk about Dawn Brothers later in the show, or actually talk about episodes later in the show. But like, I find it really interesting that like clearly what happened was in a way said, so I want to do this thing to really build to them coming together as a team and not have there be mechas until then, like make the mechas feel really earned and important. And Bandai was like, we need to sell mecha toys. There needs to be a mecha toy out right away. Okay, fine, let's grandfather something in from the last show. Like, I
Yeah,
feel
that
like that's what happened.
or it just could be that's just the general like original like Don Brothers is like semi sequel like Zenkai drew with the gear gimmick and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I like the general design of these. None of them look very bad to me, but they do look very standard first round of Sentai Mecha to me.
Fair.
Let's see, is there anything else going on in the April scans? Let me flash through these real quick. Oh, we see the Ryu Soldier altar.
Yeah, that's probably the best one so far. Like combining with the main altar.
Yeah, I do like it, actually. It's the first one I've actually liked out of the altars, I gotta
Mhm.
admit. Anything else? Oh, more promotional images for the crossover between Pure Major and Zenkaiger.
Yeah,
It
that's really
looks
all
like
we
a
got.
movie.
Yeah. No
Um,
Six Ranger, yeah. I just expect Six Rangers stuff for Sentai to show up super early because they've trained us to do that way with the last few seasons.
yeah, but with how reserved they're being, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get the Sixth Ranger until like the 20s.
Yeah. That would make more sense. And I hope that's the case, honestly.
Yeah.
Alright,
Uh,
April
Revice
Revice
April.
scan.
Yeah, Revice's April scans. There's gonna be more Veil. There's gonna be a lot of Thunder Gale, and George and the boys are doing stuff that we've already seen this week.
Yeah, a lot of this like first week of April that we're covering later this week. to cover
Yeah, this would have been very fun to speculate on last week.
Yeah, just like what the hell is George exercising? Well, you know why George is exercising.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to something
That
we
was the
can
biggest
speculate
one.
on. Ultraman Decker got his full fucking reveal and trailer, and he looks like a little baby man.
No,
At least
oh my
his human guy does. He looks like a bit of a baby man.
I mean, like that's all like modern Toku like protagonists, tbh. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, he looks a bit more serious than like looks a bit more like to use common editor terms, he looks a bit more secondary writer than primary.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'm
What do you
trying.
feel about the transformation device? Because we finally see the D flasher.
It's not great, but it's also not terrible. Like it doesn't look like a toy I'd buy, but I can't say it's a bad looking toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually
Uh,
really like the toy. Like, just because I just like card Ultraman gimmicks.
Well, I
Also,
generally like card gimmicks too. It's just the D-Flasher looks kind of awkward. I'm not sure how it's going to. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the way scanning the cards. You know what I mean?
it's a very simple way. It's very simple.
Yeah. I do dig all the forms. They're all like pretty simplistic, but they work in their simplicity.
Honestly, it's a big step up from Trigger to BH.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and then the main character's name is Kanata Asumi. I think is how you pronounce that.
Let me see. Yeah, Kanata Asumi. Yeah.
And he has a pretty interesting motivation we've heard. I'm actually just gonna read this off real quick. At the beginning of the series, Asumi works at his father's rice cracker store. Asumi leads a peaceful life and is friendly to regulars at the store and knows many people in his neighborhood. Asumi is also cheerful, goofy, and kind-hearted. He never ignores someone who needs help, and it is this drive that causes him to confront the Spear head on and awaken the power of Ultraman Decker with the light of Decker. Asumi joins the newly reformed Gut Select team to defend Earth against future attacks from the Spear. So these Spear things are kind of going to be like this mysterious evil force in the show that I'm sure connects back to Dinah in some way. But I do like the description of this main character because he reminds me a lot of like some of my favorite main writers. Like he sounds like a bit of a Kuga, a bit of a wizard, a bit of a Blade. He sounds like one of those kind of guys, and I'm like, yeah, some of that in my Ultraman, please.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see like how they'll incorporate, because he seems like just a regular guy, like just a regular your friendly neighbor, and I'm really excited to see how they implement that, because like Jeed kind of had some of that in the beginning, so I really like those like little down to earth aspects of Jeed, so it'll be very interesting to see like how down like a bit more of the down to earth elements, at least in the first episode.
Yeah. I also want to know like how much of the Guts Select team is going to be coming back, if any, because like they say newly reformed. But is that like some of the members
Decker was like,
or is he just joining that cast?
Yeah, that's very interesting. From what I heard, Decker was like a few years into the future. I'm not entirely sure. Oh no, I'm reading who the series screenwriter is. I am scared. But I'm sure it'll be fine because here one of the credits, Toshiki. Sorry about that, my voice just eating hot chips at the moment. Toshizo Namamoto's credited for Whitcross. If you don't know what a Whitcross is, I don't like it. It's a bad card game anime that's overly edgy. I don't know.
I've literally never heard of that.
I watched it when I was.
Your word for it.
Yeah, think of like one of the Whitcross shows I watched. Like one of the main plot was like incest.
I just looked. He worked on Log Horizon, and Log Horizon is fucking great.
Okay, yeah. Again, I know that I've only watched one Whitcross series, and there's multiple of them. Like there's multiple entries, so it could be good. It just what I know of Whitcross, I did not like that. So I'm just like, and besides, like like Ultraman has a different tone than Whitcross. So I and writers can they can do good, they can do bad at the same time. That's human.
Also, I've just been like, because obviously life has been hectic and we've not been able to read this whole thing, so we're just kind of reading the press release as we go. I've been skimming up and down. The story also focuses on the new members of the Gut Select team on Earth in a coming-of-age story. So, like, this is going to be a new team, I just figured out.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully it's more character-focused than, like, Trigger, because Trigger was very much...
Please God.
Yeah, like, Trigger had characters, they weren't the focus. That's one of my biggest problems, especially because like I feel like the cast of Trigger has a lot of potential for great growth, but we never really got that.
Yeah. And trying to see if there's anything like significant in here. Oh, the main character's actor's name is Hiroki Matsumoto. I feel like we should mention that. And the show premieres on July 9th. So get hype, people, I guess.
Yeah. I hope it's good. That's all I got. I hope it's good. I don't want to overhype myself like I did Trigger, but like.
Yeah. I am also curious because it like are they gonna put this on YouTube every week? Because the end of the trailer says something about the Connect site, and I'm like, am I gonna have to rent episodes of this?
No. I'm pretty sure free episodes will still go up on YouTube because they've been doing it the last few years, and I don't think they want to stop, especially with how well those episodes do on YouTube. Okay. But like, I just think they're just Connect is just a thing they're trying to promote more. Just be like, hey, read more about Ultraman on Ultraman Connect. Use Ultraman Connect for special events. Just to try to push the site more.
Fair enough. All right, moving on and right back into toy news. Remember last time how we talked about like all the Bandai companies were merging? Well, we know what that is now. Bandai Collectibles. It's now one company. All of Bandai's Western ventures are handled by the same group. They have a Twitter. You can go and follow them and learn about your Kamen Ritter and Super Sentai products.
Yeah, and Dragon Ball or whatever else Bandai owns. Yeah, honestly, out of all the company mergers recently, this just feels like, wait, you guys are a part of the same company, but you're not one? This just feels like, oh, this will just make things easier instead of like, oh, capitalism is ruining art,
Yeah, this actually feels smart. This feels like somebody went, wait, wouldn't it be way easier if we did things this way? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
actually it would.
yeah.
Uh,
Although we do see Bandai Namco's god-awful new logo, and I hate it.
moving on. Flame Toys was at WonderCon in I believe that's like a Seattle show. It's like a big convention in Seattle. I
I
might be
don't know.
wrong about that. It might be an entirely different city, and somebody yells at me in the comments, but whatever. And they showed off some new products there, specifically pertaining to this podcast. The gray prototype of their Furai model Dino Megazord has been revealed, and it looks about like I expected it to, which is just the Dino Megazord put through their standard redesign filter of like make it a little bit more anime proportioned and a little bit more greebly, and that works. That I'm fine with that.
That sure
Uh,
is a Megazord.
yeah, like it's the Dino Megazord. I don't necessarily. I'm not going to be rushing to buy this for the reason of like there's a billion Dino Megazords out there, and also the reason of I'm not much of a model kit guy. So like for people who like model kits, you'll probably really dig this. But for me, it's just like, oh, that does exist. Look at that. Anyway,
Now we head
let's
on
talk
to
about
April
stuff that's actually
Fools.
hype.
Yeah,
Fucking new Toei Tokusatsu Club series revealed. Kamen Rider Gems, Smart Brain, and the 1000% Crisis.
so this was teased as like April Fool's Kamen Rider Lovely Cut special, and then it's real. They've done this
Yeah,
before, but I just love that Toei's like they tease something as an April Fool's, and then they'll actually do it. Um.
yeah.
Also, now I'm gonna have to see all the Kamen Rider fans coping with X8 being the new Den-O.
Which is
Dan the
honestly fine because X8 is goaded.
Yeah, and it's also just like it's like it's a different like how like Kamen Rider sometimes try to replicate Den-O by making another Momotaro. Well, they replicated the success of Den-O but in a different way because now Dan the Man is the new Momotaro.
Uh-huh.
It,
And like he's a fucking great character that has tons of reasons and potential to be constantly brought back and can always be interesting. And his actor loves the character and is
yeah,
always down for it. Like he's down for coming back to Kamen Rider in the same way like what's his real name? Tsukasa Decade. Decade's actor is always
Masahiro Inoue.
yeah, Masahiro Inoue is like a massive Kamen Rider fanboy and is always down to come back, even if he just said he was done with the role. And I feel like that's very much the same way Dan's actor is.
Yeah,
Because
and like they're like from the title, we only know Dan the Man's coming back as a human gear and Lovely Ka is coming back as himself. But we from the title we can guess that we'll also have connections to Fies and 01. It's
which
based
is honestly super interesting. Like this feels like Toei has finally figured out how to kind of do their interconnected universe thing that they've been trying to crib from Marvel for years now.
do whatever. Just like if you have a story you want to tell, just do it.
Yeah. And like it works and it makes sense that all this stuff would be melding together because Zero One and X8 have the same writer and they are both very much in the same have a lot of the same kind of post-human prognosticating themes and Smart Brain can kind of help build on that retroactively if you like look into what they were doing in that show or if you've just watched it.
Yeah. Like don't just like watch History of Kamen Rider and say you've watched the show.
No. I watched fucking 15 episodes of Fies and decided it was not for me on my own, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to finish Fies. But yeah, it's coming out April 17th. This will be a lot of fun. I know like and Cope, get him is eternal. X8 is
Yeah.
eternal, fellas.
Yeah, somebody please sub this as it comes out. I would really like to talk about this week to week on the show.
I think it's just gonna be like just 2 or 1 episode of like thing, which is fine.
Yeah, that's cool. And then our final news story is something that literally dropped as I was getting in the door today. Team Rider has announced that they will be doing a stateside release of the DX Henshin belt King Stone from Kamen Rider Black. this is fucking hype for me, honestly, because we're watching Black right now.
Yeah.
And like this toy that's incredibly expensive on sites like eBay right now because of its age and relative rarity. So like get another shot at it, even though it's probably gonna be pricey. I'm down, I'm hype. I might like if this is one of those things that GameStop picks up, I might buy this from one of my local GameStops if I got the cash rolling around.
Yeah. I still wish they would release Black legally, but
you talk to regularly, but like this sells well. Could you please push somebody or other to put the rest of Black out, like Shout Factory or whoever runs the Toei YouTube channel?
Yeah, because
Please.
Black is a good show.
Yeah.
Very good.
We'll be talking more about that later.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched the episodes you watched yet, but like I'll watch them after soon, later.
Okay. Let's get into the new episode, shall we?
Alright, by new episodes we mean episodes that happened a month ago at this point. But this last of the Dino Fury Netflix drop. Power Rangers Dino Fury, Season 2, Episode 10, Losers Weepers. What a dumb title. Let me look up what happened in this one.
I did have to read the Wikipedia just to refresh myself, because I watched these like almost a week and a half ago now, I want to say.
Alright. I'm pulling up the wiki right now.
But like from my memory, Losers Weepers was a bit of a silly moral of the week episode, and like just contributes to me thinking Ion is kind of a dumb character, but it wasn't like bad, like it was a concept I'm not a fan of that was handled well. It was one of those kind of episodes.
Oh, this is the episode where they find a lot of money. I mean, This was probably one of Aeon's better episodes. It wasn't like a great episode, but it was like a good episode. Still, I don't like that, like, this is the episode where the Ultrazord comes back, like, which, almost killed everyone last time. I felt like that should have been, like, the main focus of the episode, but then again, that's more of a Dino Fury problem in general than, like, a problem with this episode. Where it's just like there's all these big reveals, and it's like it's ended an episode where someone's doing something stupid.
Isn't it weird that like a consistent problem with Dino Fury has been they're so focused on trying to tell an entertaining story that they're not selling the toys properly?
Yeah, I mean, I argue like it was also a problem in Beast Morphers, but I feel like in Beast Morphers it was like a bit downplayed. It wasn't as bad as it is here. It's weird, man. That's weird. I don't like that. I really wish they would, like, I really hope they clean that up for season 30, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Speaking of which, next episode?
Yeah, next episode. Yeah, it was a fine filler. This episode, the copycat. What a weird way to end the hiatus on.
Or kick us into the hiatus on.
Yeah, kick us into the hiatus. So, Javi coming up with a new tune after, like, getting played. The music thing is fine. I think that's, like, a good, like, mid-season, like, get all the side characters and just, like, have them do goofy stuff. That's a good way to end the season. The Void King thing. First off, awesome name and great design. But, like, he just kind of just shows up. Like they have a fight, and then just be like, there's not really like a new goal. It just feels like, well, we gotta deal with that guy now.
It feels like a monster of the week.
Yeah, I here's the thing.
I don't get super into it, but the design feels kind of generic to me.
Okay, like maybe it's the filter because this is like I think they were using new fight choreography because like in the Sentai, the Void King was one of the best villains. Like they actually lasted till like the end, and like was one of the big players that like kicked in like a lot of the big villain plans in the 30s and 40s. So it's like I'm really it's cool to see that design here. I hope it gets a toy release. I don't think that's happening at this point because where the hell are the rest of the Dino Fury figures? Man.
I do like the idea of trying to parallel what one ranger is dealing with as a ranger with what another is dealing with as a person, but it feels a little clumsy to me. Like it's like this is a good idea, but this is your first attempt, and you need a few more attempts till you get it to really be good. Like it's very much that similar thing like we were talking about with last episode, where it's like this is an interesting story, but you're also trying to sell some toys here, and it feels like you're doing a half measure on both.
Yeah. I will say it's nice to see the Cleon, the dance footage from Real Soldier make it into here.
Yeah, that was honestly pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that was funny. That's like a nice
I
little
also wasn't expecting the Pan fan guy to come back. Like
Yeah,
I thought he
Pancakes.
was a one-off character.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Dino Fury, like, there's a bit of, like, continuity with the one-offs, which is weird, because it's like, usually in Power Rangers, you'll just get these, like, one-off characters, and they'll just be like, yeah, one-off characters. But now they just kind of come back for, like, gags and stuff, and which feels a bit like classic cartoon, and I kind of love that.
It's also just great that, like, this episode isn't about, like, redeeming him for what he did last time.
Yeah.
He's just a total dick in the last episode he was in, and he's a total dick in this one, and he doesn't learn the lesson that he's obviously supposed to learn from the events.
Yeah, it's just like an
It's very
antagonist.
un-Power Rangers, but I like it.
That's just what normal shows do, man. I don't know what you like. I don't know. Like, a lot of Dino Fury just feels like, oh, this is what normal shows should be. But like it feels like
But Power Rangers hasn't always been like a normal show. Like it's always had this sort of veneer of trying to make everybody who's human seem good. Like the only actually truly evil people are the rubber suit monster. Like
yeah.
that's part of the reason why Tarek got turned into a rubber suit monster. He's too sexy for you to kill him off.
And also, the Void Queen needs the more upper management. Just
That
be
as
like,
well.
yeah, yeah, and it is very like interesting to see how just kind of like, oh, this episode, it's just like, no, just be like, a lot of the problems of Dino Fury is that it just like it's not doing what normally is in Power Rangers or something, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I also want to give a shout out to Warden Garcia for being a supportive dad for both his kids now.
Yeah,
Because like I really dig that about his character. Like it sucks what a dick he was to Javi early on, but I like that now that he gets it, he's just in. Like as soon as he understands that what his kid is doing is cool, he's behind it 100%.
yeah, really, and a good character arc over there. Good, like, yeah. So now that we're basically done with Dino Fury Season 2's first half, thoughts overall on this first half?
It's all right, isn't it?
It's an improvement, like, when you look at it as a whole, but, like, a lot of the, like, there's still, like, it's consistent, I think, is, like, what I like about it. Like, it's not trying to change the status quo by being better or worse, and, like, neither, it's just being better. It's just, like, consistent. It's the best of all the Season 2s we've had so far.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I'm not in love with it, but I also, like, know it could be way worse, so I'm very hesitant to, like, get upset about it not being amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Dino Fury in general. Dino Fury is a good 7 out of 10 show, I think.
Mhm.
It's a really fun show. But, like, there's a lot of areas where it'd be like, that could be better, but that could be better, but it's still like an entertaining show. This is still like a very entertaining season of Rangers, and I do think a lot of the season did benefit from being a Netflix binge drop.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how the rest of the show goes in. Is it August? We're assuming it'll drop.
August or July. I hope it's June or July. Just because I just yet sooner. I want to finish this show. Dang it! I'm invested.
Mm-hmm.
What goofy hijinks will Aeon piss us off with next? Anyway, time for superhero time. 2 weeks. Kamen under Revice, episode 28. Conquering fear at lightning speed. Believe yourself as one mind, one body.
That's like the most Kamen Rider-y title this show has had in a while.
It sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh chant.
Yeah, but like I don't know, fucking it's weird how like this year Rider and Sentai haven't had super wordy titles, but like that feels like a thing that's always there, and then just this episode shows up like boom.
Yeah. This was a really good episode. I like it.
Oh yeah, it was great. Like for as much as I don't like the way Thunder Gale looks, it was a really good introduction for that form.
Yeah, especially with like the suit acting, they reference like Kamen Rider Ichigo's like Kenshin pose and jump.
He does Ichigo and Nigo's Henshin pose.
Yeah, which does work with like Revi and Vice becoming one.
And
also we get to see George
like,
transform.
Yeah, lots of great character stuff for George because he gets to become demons for a half second. He finalizes this stamp. And he finally comes face to face with his dad again, and he basically fucking pulls a Kylo Ren and goes, "Wow, look how old you've become."
Yeah, and also, like, I will say, he did the Kuga pose, but he said, "Come on!" And I, like, people were complaining that it's like, "Oh, he didn't say Henshin, what a weird fanboy," and I'm just like, I feel like we've all had our, like, little, like, things in our head about franchises we like. I was like, "Oh, I want to change that. If I was in that, I would, like, say this instead of this. I would do this instead of that." So, I think it's just, I'm okay with it. Also, it's just,
Yeah.
like, a thing he says often, so it's, characterization.
Yeah, but like given that, I kind of wish he had said "goddamn."
just like to Henshin. Maybe he can do that. Like if he transforms again, he'll just say that to Re-Henshin.
Yeah.
Like when he gets knocked out and then he goes back up, and it's like then he says.
Honestly, even with what's happening in the next episode, I kind of hope he just stays Demons for a little bit.
Yeah, I really do. Like, yeah, you would like, or like he gets his own form, or like something like that. I do feel like we're kind of overdue for a demons upgrade at this.
Yeah, give George something like oh god, what was it called? That like civilian version of the mock suit from Drive that the
Uh,
chief wore.
like a half second.
Yeah.
I was more thinking like birth, proto birth,
Oh
like.
yeah, something like that would be cool.
Yeah, like two demons running around. But yeah, good episode, good action. Oh, Olena's freaking dead. Okay.
Yeah, he just gets eaten.
Yeah, just like Gifu would just be like, I gobbled these.
Yeah, and Agalia is full on friend zoned by GIF.
Yeah, Gifu. That's man rip. And now for a problem, but like also a cool episode of Revice that isn't in Revice proper. Revice Legacy, Coming Under Veil, episode 1. This was good.
Yeah, this is surprisingly good. Like I was expecting this to be super edgelordy and terrible, and like it was kind of edgelordy, but it was like that tolerable level of edgelordy of like, oh, you're doing an interesting story here that just happens to need this tone.
Yeah, I really like. I like the edginess was like a delicious edginess, not like oh this just hurts, Like it
Yeah,
was flavorful.
this wasn't Audi Edge.
Yeah, this was like flavorful edge, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, like I'm not like huge on the Veil suit, but like it's fine and it works good with what they're doing. I love the episode did kind of feel like fight montage, like.
Mm-hmm. But it's like it's a good way to convey that like he does this for a long time and it really fucks him up.
Yeah, and I do think this will work better once we have all the episodes in our hands. It just like as like just a week to week episode, it just feels like it's okay, it's good, but like it feels a bit much like relying on God. Just we need to get as much Veil footage out there. We have this suit, make it fight.
Mm-hmm. And I was like honestly surprised with how much characterization this gives to Yukimi, the mom. Like she really comes alive in this in a way she has rarely gotten to in the show. And it makes you understand where she's coming from in the show retroactively way better. Like with how kind and nice and accepting of a person as she is to I forget.
Genta?
Yeah, Genta. I forget what his original name is. But with how nice she is to him, like it makes sense like how protective she is of the kids and like how much she tries to stop Sakura being a writer in the show.
Because like like she's very empathetic
Mhm.
to like she sees this like Veil and she's like she doesn't like unlike everyone else who sees like a monster, she sees like, oh, this is a damaged person.
Yeah, which was really nice because like the trailer gave me such an impression that this show was going to be edgelord scenes of Genta and depressing scenes of George's dad going like, "What have I done?" And we get like one scene like.
Yeah. Like it does feel like a modern interpretation of like a Showa era stuff, like because this clearly is aping a lot of Showa era imagery and storylines. But it's a nice change of pace. It feels a bit like a return to like the Amazons, like from what I've seen
Yeah,
of
this
that.
feels like Amazon season 1, where
Yeah.
like, because like Amazon's kind of got in over its head in season 2. I feel like
Yeah.
never properly talked about Amazons. I just realized like I really enjoy Amazon season 1 as like a grim and gritty writer show in a time where there hadn't been one for a while, and like it made sense with the story they were telling. And then season 2 felt like they took all the wrong notes from the positive response to season 1, and then the movie felt like they course corrected just right and just in time.
Yeah, for like the ending, to leave the Amazon's franchise on a good note. But yeah, good special. I like it. You know, I'm interested to see how it develops. Yeah, like strong intro. And now for Don Brothers, the episode 4, the Onigiri Oni. This was funny.
This episode was great, honestly. Like this is the same as I felt about episode 3, where I was like, oh my god, this is like a coherent, really good, solid story of the week. And it's not like other Sentais that drag out the whole team getting together, where the whole time I'm just thinking like, how long until they're all going to be together. It feels like I'm just enjoying these characters getting to know each other, because this episode is primarily about I believe it's Kiji.
Yeah, Kijiro, I think.
Yeah, the pink Dom brother and Dom Momotaro doing a job and trying to help people get good at business by just like teaching them how to be good people. Which was a very interesting approach, especially coming from a part of the world where that's not really how we approach being good at business. And the B plot of Yellow and Blue like conspiring to figure out how to get Dom Momotaro to chill the fuck out was also really entertaining.
Yeah, it feels like everyone got something to do in this episode. Like Tsubasa was still on the run, Haruka and Shinji were still trying to like figure out what to do about Don Momotaro. Which, you know, you think at that moment where they punch him at near the end, and you like, you know, it's like they start to like get a bit of an upper edge, but you still see they still got a ways to go before like defeating him.
Yeah, and I loved the little bits we got of Kiji interacting with his wife in this episode too. Like it took me back to Nobuharu and his sister and niece in Kyuryuger.
Yeah, although this feels like, you know, we don't really see like Sentai members having like wives or husbands often in the main show. So it felt like something very new, especially because we don't really see like in media we don't really see like a newlywed wife dynamic, like because usually it's been like they're either experienced or they're like boyfriend and girlfriend up until the end of the show where they're married. You know, this is like they're newlywed like 3 months like in the honeymoon phase and stuff.
I think in the last episode or was it episode 2? At some point he said they've been married for like 2 years now.
Really? No, they said like 2 months. Like they said like a few months. I don't know.
Maybe I misread that.
Yeah, probably. We were using overtime, right?
I was watching overtime.
Okay, I was watching overtime too, so I was like, I'm not sure what's going on there.
But no, I love that scene, and I also just love. I love the kind of like contrasting cultures of like how like pleasantly surprised I am by how wholesome Japanese culture is sometimes. Where like if this was an American sitcom, when he like turns over and asks his wife like, "Hey, there's something I've always wanted you to do for me," that would be a sex joke. But in this, it's, "Can you make me and my coworkers lunch?" And that's like so wholesome and great. And I was just wondering.
Show.
Yeah, but like that would be in a sitcom that's for the entire family too.
Oh, okay,
it would just be veiled.
Yeah, fair.
So like I really enjoyed that as like a nice wholesome surprise. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say about this.
Oh episode. Taro's backstory. Was that last episode or?
That was mostly last episode, but we get a little bit more of it this episode where we kind of get a little bit more of his motivations. We get a hint at what it is before we get the full reveal in episode 5, where he talks about like, no matter how good you make your food, it's not gonna be perfect unless you're truly making it for the heart for someone you care for.
Yeah,
and that was really interesting.
PG's like motivation, and solid episode, I'd say. Very, very fun episode. I'm probably the weakest out of the first 5, but like still like really good.
Yeah.
And back to Revice. Kamen and Revice, episode 29. Crankin', Memories of Hiromi. This was I don't know how I feel about this one. Honestly,
this was fun. I like this. This was like for a clip show. This was like a pleasant breath of fresh air. and like just giving the characters a minute to breathe before we get into like heavy plot shit again. Like honestly,
next episode, we'll get to that later.
mhm. Honestly,
But like,
this episode feels like maybe the best clip show I've seen since Transformers Prime season 2.
it's good. I don't think it's like, I don't want to call it like, there's a lot of fun bits. I just feel like, I think I think I like the contents of the episode. I don't like what's the linchpin holding it together, which is like Hiromi's back, but it's off screen, and you're gonna have to find out.
I was gonna say, like, they make a big deal out of like, all right, Hiromi's back, but he's lost his memories, and we gotta refresh them, and we see him for all of 2 seconds of screen time.
And it's just like, when did this happen? This happens off screen, huh? There should be like a bigger reveal. At the very least, it should be like the opening scene of the episode, you know?
Like it's like they literally just shouted from off camera, "Buy the Blu-rays, kids!"
Yeah, honestly, it's starting to get a bit ridiculous with how much Revice is relying on side content for its story.
That being said, though, there's a lot of like video production humor in this
yeah,
that I really appreciated.
Us, because we're both.
Like the no more copyright violation, it's editing time and everybody is like exhausted.
The one where they accidentally delete the files.
Yeah,
I think that was so relatable. It's just like, no, my progress.
And then oh god, what was the other
George's
one?
stretches that was pretty funny. We're just teaching like everyone how to do Kamen Rider poses. That was probably my favorite bit.
Yeah, I was almost tempted. Like, should I save this episode and see if that actually works as a workout routine? Because it's really ridiculous. But it looks like he's doing some actual shit there.
Yeah, it does. There are actual rider poses. I can at least tell you that.
And I love how they just almost offhandedly, the show just outs their secret identities as Kamen Riders in this episode because Vice accidentally posts his footage.
Oh, I mean, like, I don't think it will be like. I don't think that was really like a big deal of the show, and that's
it obviously wasn't. But it was but that was a thing. Was like they made a huge. It was a gag where they're like, oh, it's getting a crap ton of views, and Vice is in trouble because he wasn't supposed to do that. And now and I'm like, okay, but real world repercussions.
Yeah. This was an okay breather episode. Although it feels like it feels like when Revice should be like pumping up. Like it seems like this and the next few episodes are just gonna be kind of winding down, and it's like, huh, okay. Doesn't help that next episode. We'll talk about it next week. I don't.
There's gonna be a lot of bitching next week. I feel like.
Yeah, both from us and the internet. And now final episode of the week, new episode of the week, because Vac still need to talk some about Black. Avatar Sentai Dud Brothers, episode 5, The Doghouse Siege. This was so good. Oh my god.
This was Goat Raw Swag Kino.
Yeah, legit. This is like, oh, Dud Brothers is so good. Let's make it even better.
Again, this felt like taking I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Hang on. This feels like a premise from a 90s sitcom, but applied to Sentai. The characters keep converging and getting stuck in the same place, and that leads to a lot of wacky situations and development of one character in particular.
It feels like everyone got some kind of development or good moment to stand out. Shin-Chi just basically got his Kaiku gags in there, which is everyone got a bit sick of that. Haruka, is she understands Momotaro a bit. Momotaro gives hey, if I can't be happy, I'll make everyone else happy.
That's such good character motivation, and I'm so glad we finally gotten to the point of this character.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's I do feel like there's gonna be even more to it based on what we've seen of him. It's just that was great. Also, the episode really focuses on Tsubasa, where he's and a thing he says that part of him being a criminal, he wants to see his girlfriend again because he hasn't seen him in 2 years. Question mark. He hasn't seen her in a while.
I think the exact thing they said was he hasn't seen her since before he was convicted, and someone told him that if he manages to not get captured for a full year, then he'll be able to see her again.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the guy like in the cell? Like Momotaro's
Might be.
fosters that? That
We're,
might be
we're
him.
get we're getting more of him next week, so we might find that out.
Yeah. Also that villain tease at the end. Very interested in why did they break the Mona Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll find out later. And
But
then like
no, I love the scene where Taro flips out on him for opening a package and makes him go and scrub the person's toilet.
yeah, it just basically just makes him do all these odd jobs, and it's like you can tell this dude like he a bit nutty, but he's like he has a point to his nuttiness.
Mhm.
Like
And it's what leads to the police finding them, which is like a really good way to propel the story forward.
yeah, and also like just the chill happy birthday moment where it's like in all this madness you still like got this very emotional and like sweet moment. Like
Mhm.
that just feels like what the core of Don Burns is getting at. There's all this insanity, but there's like a heart to it. There's a
Yeah.
method to it.
And
Um,
still, after this episode, where we finally get all our main characters in human form in the same room, they still don't know that all of them are Dom brothers.
Yeah, it's just like, and I find that funny. It's like Haruka knows that like Don Momotaro is like Momotaro, but I don't think she knows that. No, she knows what Tsubasa is.
Mhm.
Um, we also get the henshin for uh Inu brother, which is funny.
Yeah,
Shrink.
it's fine.
E.
But like I really like I'm starting to be really impressed by this show in that like this is the second time I brought up Kyoryuger today, but like Kyoryuger, they made a bit of a big deal early on about like it's gonna take a while for the team to come together. Like Jetman, this show is like Jetman, watch this show. And it felt very gimmicky and kind of annoying at times. It feels natural in this show, and it feels more fun than it does like I'm waiting for it to happen. Like I'm enjoying that it has taken this long because this still feels like a very different Sentai show. It feels like it means something that the characters haven't come together yet. Unlike in Kyoryuger, where it was just a standard Sentai where also that happened. Like they already had their main mecha and all that within the first couple episodes, even though the whole team hadn't come together yet. Whereas here, it's like there is a mecha, but it's not a team mecha, and there's all this mystery and stuff, and the characters still don't know who each other are. Like this doesn't feel like a formulaic children's show that's trying to sell me toys. This feels like a like I hesitate to use the words mature or adult because those tend to get overused in fandoms like ours, but it feels like a more real show that's trying to tell a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get where you're like it feels unique. Like it feels like okay, we're waiting for this to happen. That's the main crux. No, there's like all these other things that I'm excited about. There's all this great character work. There's all this
Mhm.
like there's more benefits to like the like I feel like the narratively the show benefits from not coming together right away
Yeah,
rather
there's
than
a
like
lot of
purely
yes and in this show.
yeah, like a lot of like there's just so many ideas, but they all like they all complement each other in some way. And like a lot, I do feel like a lot of modern toku gets into a thing called feature creep. Like this is a gaming term, but I'm gonna use it for toku. Where it's like there's so much like stuff to sell you on it, but like it only uses like two ideas well, or none of the ideas like all that well. Think let's say like Ultraman Trigger that has a lot of feature creep, I'd argue, but this like uses its feature creep like to like a lot more natural extent.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Where like a trend in the big toku over like the last 10 years has been, oh, toy sales in general are down. Just start putting more and more toys in the show instead of, like tell a more interesting and captivating story that makes people want the toys more.
Yeah, it's not even just the toy sales. It's just like this is this idea. This is an idea we have for the story. This is an idea we have for the toy. This idea we have for the entire show. And they have like so many ideas that they have to like start cutting them down. Like once we get to the tens.
Yeah.
Granted, we're not even in the tens for Don Brothers, but so far it does feel like maybe outside the alters, which just feels like in a new age joke, which I'm okay with. Like everything's being used in an interesting way here.
Yeah.
So yeah, really digging Dawn Brothers, honestly. Again, this is the most I've enjoyed Sentai since Key Ranger.
Yeah. Great couple of weeks of new releases.
Yeah.
Like Revice is not on its A game anymore, I'd say, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Gale was surprisingly great. Dino Fury is Dino Fury, and I say that like I'm dunking on it, but I'm not. Dom Brothers is just impressing me more and more with each episode.
Yeah, like I feel like for you it took a bit like to like fully get what
Oh,
we're what,
definitely. I would still argue those first two episodes weren't great.
I still think they are like just for the pure entertainment value, but like it just took like I just saw the potential and I feel like it's using that potential well. You know?
Yeah.
Um yeah, you want to talk about your old stuff? Let's do the Zord restoration or Black episodes.
I guess I'll talk about this first because it's a follow-up to a thing we did a whole deep dive on when I first got it. So when I bought my deluxe Lightspeed Rescue, Lightspeed and Super Train Megazords, I mentioned that I was probably going to get new stickers for them and try and restore them somewhat. Well, I did that over the course of like a week, which is now a week ago. And I did a whole thread on my Twitter. I'll probably put that in the description to this, chronicling that. Basically, what I did was I stripped the original stickers off and gave the Zords in general a good scrubbing and cleaning, and then I applied new, more durable and show accurate stickers I found on a fan site, and I repaired the chrome with some pens that I'd known about for a while but just hadn't gotten around to buying that are specifically for doing tasks like that. And I tried to touch up where the paint had been scuffed in a few spots. Like there were some black marks over silver paint, so I went back over those and vice versa. And overall, I'm really satisfied with how it turned out. Like it's not perfect. There's a few things you look at, like some places where I tried to paint in windows where there were sculpted in lines, but you could put on a sticker, which was going to be a huge pain in the ass, or you could just try and hit it with a Sharpie or a paint pen. And I went and did that. And it doesn't look perfect. Like it looks a little colored outside the lines, but it's something where you're only going to see it if you're looking really closely at them. Like just sitting on a shelf, it looks fine. So I'm very satisfied with how that turned out, especially because it's the first time I've attempted a project like this of this scale. Like I've modified toys in the past, a little bit here and there, but I've never like completely redone something to try and make it look as nice as it possibly can, almost from the ground up. So this was a bit of an undertaking for me, and I feel like it went pretty well. And that's all I really have to say on that. Did you have any questions on that, Buster?
More so, plug your Twitter thread. I mean, I'm just like on edge because the Boingo's streaming.
And then I watched I think it's four more episodes of Kamen Rider Black. I watched episodes 5 through 9, which is basically a block of filler. But it's very good filler because it's just God, it's just like fucking classic Kamen Rider, man. It's just a man and his motorcycle fighting
Man.
monsters, and it's great.
Yeah.
Also, like I felt way stronger about this last week because the episodes were fresher in my mind. But like I think it's episode 5 or 6 where they do a freaking Battle Hopper focus episode and make me feel like a complete dick for having said he's not.
Yeah.
I don't like that the color clashes with Black's suit. Because like Battle Hopper is alive and he fucking takes an L for Black, and it's really sad. And like the effects they do to show that and show Battle Hopper's regenerating ability are so cool. Like Black is in that perfect zone of time where it's like practical effects were just about at their peak before CGI started to come in and take over things. And like there's just some really cool looking stuff in the show and some really fun little plot lines that are going on. Like Black is such a nice show to just slip into every couple of nights. And I can't wait to get back to it this week because I watched these episodes 2 weeks ago and I wasn't able to watch any episodes this last week because of how hectic and thrown off things were due to me being sick.
Yeah. Hopefully, you all good. I'm missing Boy Go Bash, Boy Go.
All right. Well
Birthday Bash.
then let's wrap up. Calm down. Stop
Yeah,
mentioning
it's a
things that are
joke.
happening right now and will be in the past for the listeners. And tell people where they can find you on the internet should you want them.
Lamau. I am Buster Corp. I do videos on the internet, on the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do video essays on a variety of things, including tokusatsu. But like, if you want to follow me on Twitter, why would you want to do that? But you can follow me there at BusterBilly3. Go back.
Okay, hi, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos sometimes. You can find them at youtube.com/the Vacuuminator. I also am on Twitter at the Vacuuminator and Instagram at the _Vacuuminator. But folks, that is finally all for these last 2 weeks in Tokusatsu. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time to discuss whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.